women.
Yeah, but you see, Arsenal women have been one of the powerhouses in England for a long time. Yeah. In fact, when Arsenal's trophy drought started, the Arsenal women were winning. So Arsenal fans,
somebody's laughing.
They were okay. The women were winning.
To play instead of the men.
Oh, don't do that. So Sunderland are also in their trend. Yeah. They had an amazing last-minute winner from, I believe he's called Tommy Watson. Yep. Very unexpected, very very nice goal in the last minute just to end Sheffield United's playoff hopes. And Sheffield United 10 playoff finals, 10 playoff defeats. So very 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 unfortunate.
Either they qualified directly or no playoffs.
Yes. Baba Rahman is in the trend. He's been recalled to the Black Stars team. So. We have a game on Wednesday, actually, the Unity Cup. So that's going to be played in London. I believe Nigeria, Ghana, Trinidad, and there's another Jamaica. Thank you. So it's so Baba Aman has been recalled. Ho United are in the trends. They are going to be playing the Ghana Premier League next season.
Oh, they've done well.
Yeah, they've done well. So that was formerly Liberty Professionals. Now Ho United.
Yes. So we have elevated the team.
Yes. Arsenal won their game. City won their game. Liverpool were crowned. Trent Alexander-Arnold said goodbye. Yeah. So lots of things happening over the weekend. Yeah. So
just a final one on technology. We have a big show today, EdTech Monday today. There's a very good question I know you guys will love. Innovation versus regulation, finding the right balance for EdTech. That's our topic today, and I'm really looking forward to a very lively debate in the studio from 9. I have Antoinette Ohene-Amua, who is the head of Multimedia Unit and Webmaster at GIKCE. We have Kwame in Nyatwame, who is the creative director of Afro EdTech enthusiast and president of the Ghana EdTech Alliance. We have Precious Tidogo Asampoa. So the names are testing me to the fundraising and communications lead for Maxim Nyansa, and then we have Kweki Blebo, co-founder of BSC. So we're discussing that today from 9. So watch out for that.
I'll just do a short one on tech news. OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, are opening an office in Seoul because ChatGPT, all of us are using it. We are using it too much, so they're opening another office. So AI is booming. So that's all I'll say for tech news. And
thank you very much, Susu.
Since 1894, we've witnessed the evolution of a brand and proudly partnered with its people on the path to prosperity. From the ink-stained ledgers of the past to the lightning-fast transactions of today, First Bank has consistently adapted, embracing innovation while cherishing the legacy of our heritage and making giant strides across the globe. It's not just about banking, it's about enabling your success generation after generation. Our legacy defined the past, shaped the present, and in 2094, we will still be fostering financial security and stability for future generations. We are helping to create a future where the possibilities are infinite, the opportunities borderless, and where the world looks up to Africa. Let's awaken the giant in you. You first. First Bank.
Auntie T, abeg, fix me go betete Ghana. No garri, no oil, no plantain, just beans and eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination, no.
Problem no day. I feel handle am.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, you fit get your own data and call packages. Fala! Made For Me bundles like the way you the want town. That *530#, then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Calling all farmers, agribusinesses, and innovators, this is your chance to shine. Channel One TV invites you to exhibit at AgriFair 2025, one of Ghana's largest agriculture exhibitions. From Friday 20th to Sunday the 22nd of June, the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra will come alive with the very best from Ghana's agribusiness sector. Are you a farmer with fresh produce of any kind? Be it crops, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture, or you're a supplier of agro inputs and processing machinery? This is your platform to connect with the world. AgriFair 2025 is more than an exhibition. Showcase your fresh produce, share your expertise and experience, and grow your business. So, to all farmers with fresh produce, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture products, come, sell, network, and expand your business. AgriFair 2025, where culture meets innovation. Register now to secure your spot. Call us on 0205 973 973. Come one, come all. Enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices. And treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Great taste, great value. Don't miss out. The AgriFair 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM and is proudly sponsored by Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, and Development Bank Ghana.
When the pain is too much, don't know what else to do. So rapping all, we'll take the pain away. Rapping all,
Rapinol is what you need. Rapinol will relieve you of all aches and pain in your body. Rheumatic pain, menstrual pain, body pain, toothaches, and other feverish conditions. Rapinol is a quality product from Danex Itin Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. Not suitable for children below 16 years old, asthmatic, and ulcer patients. This advert is FDA approved.
Sankofa pepper powder, Sankofa pepper powder, Sankofa pepper powder. Abuna abonje krakra, Sankofa pepper powder. Sankofa pepper powder.
In every Ghanaian home, there's a trunk, not just of GTP fabrics, but also stories and tradition passed on from mother to daughter to help her discover herself, to shape her dreams and hopes, to usher her into becoming a woman wrapped in purpose. Celebrate every woman's journey of growth into womanhood with the new GTP Mother's Day collection, now available at all accredited dealers nationwide, the GTP retail store in Osu, and online at shop.gtpfashion.com. Verify authenticity by matching the code on the edge of the fabric with the code on the label. GTP, life styled.
Rise and shine, it's another day to stay on point. Toast to spread, it's still on point. Watch it spread it all day long. Still on point, yes, it's still on point.
It's still on point.
Watch it spread,
it's still on point.
For your bread,
it's still on point.
For your toast,
it's still on point.
It's yummy delicious,
it's still on point.
Still on point, yes, it's still on point.
It's still on point.
Still on point, yes, it's still on point.
It's still on point.
For your toast, it's still on point.
It's still on point.
Fortune spread, it's yummy delicious.
It's still on point.
Fortune spread, delicious, creamy, and always on point. This advert is FDA approved.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
You cross the road. Keep on walking until you see the sign. Past the old woman selling mangoes.
20 minutes past 8, Citi Breakfast Show. You also deserve a brand new car. Volkswagen is offering Virtus Highline Saloon, T1 Life SUV and Amarok pickup at used car prices. Just walk into any Volkswagen retail outlet with your used car budget and you may drive out a brand new car. Take advantage now. Call or WhatsApp VW on 025-795-6688 for more information about our range of models. We have the Virtus, the T-Cross, the T1, the Allspace, the Terramont, and the Amarok pickups. Volkswagen, rise and thrive. Don't buy an inferior mattress at a cheap price. It may cost you your health. Latex Foam offers you unmatched quality and durability at competitive prices. We are giving off 10% off everything you buy from our showrooms from now till end of May. Come get your favorite mattresses, sofas and beds, wardrobes and coffee and center tables at very reasonable prices. Call Latex Foam on 0302-231-155. Latex Foam, your partner for life.
Would you believe they tore down a friend?
If you're looking for smarter, faster and more secure way to manage your finances, look no further with the award-winning FAB mobile and internet banking solution. Banking is now faster, easier and more convenient. Join the Purple Bank today and get the Purple experience. It's easy, safe and secure. First Atlantic Bank, 2 times Digital Bank of the Year. First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different. GRA is reminding all persons registered for VAT, NHI or Get Fund Levy payments that the 2025 April version is due no later than 30th May, which is the last working day of the month. File your VAT returns, your Get Fund, your NHI and the CSC returns early and avoid payment of penalties. For more information, call 055-299-0000. All right, we seem to be getting a lot of feedback on this thing about charges. I remember speaking to somebody from the Bank of Ghana a year or two ago on this, and the person was very clear that you should not be charged for bank to wallet transactions of your own. I think I spoke to John Ewa, if I'm not mistaken, and he explained this. You can be charged for wallet to bank for a different bank, as in for a different person. So basically you are charged for transactions, but moving your money from your bank account into your wallet is not technically a transaction, right? It's not technically a transaction. So where is the charge coming from? The governor spoke about this. I don't know if you have the audio clips, very, very short actually, but I just want you to, because the journalists asked him at the recent MPC post press conference. So this is what he said.
Charges on mobile money accounts.
Transfer between wallets, yes.
Transfers between wallets and
it's your chin again because I found it a bit.
Or otherwise,
So simply put, if you are transferring money from your mobile money wallet to your bank account and vice versa, you are being charged. And I'm asking what the bank's plan is, because if you want to look at financial inclusion, this is actually the service. However, if you look at the data pack, you realize that total deposits between March and April dropped. So I want to find out what the bank's assessment is when it comes to the reason for this drop in total deposit, if that particular issue is also a contributing factor.
Okay. Well, it's something that came to our attention, that some banks were imposing this type of charges. We are looking into those. I'm aware of one particular bank where that accusation came up. My director of FinTech is not here. I would have asked him to give you the specifics, but that is very much, that is very well noted. If you can let the director of communications know about which particular bank. Do you have of a particular bank? Yes. If you would like to volunteer, you can speak to the head of communications in confidence. We are happy to look into the matter. Okay.
Governor?
Well, Governor, this is much more serious than the way the question and the whole interaction seems. This seems very relaxed. But I can say to you that this is a very serious matter. And particularly coming on the back of the e-levy removal, I think it's something that's more serious than it's being made to appear. He says one bank's name has come up and therefore they are looking into it. I think this is because for me, the reason the e-levy was so obnoxious was the fact that it went so much against financial inclusion and the whole digital agenda, basically charging people for wanting to do the right thing. We wanted to reduce cash, and we say let's all go digital, and then you impose a tax on it. Having removed the tax, some banks have decided that this is the best time to reintroduce this essentially illegal charge. Because I am not a banker, but I understand that a transaction is different from just a transfer. A transaction is essentially I owe Sky money, I send him money from my Momo to his bank account. I understand that you should charge me for that. Yeah. But the banks advertise and say, oh, now you don't even need to come to the banking hall. Use our digital banking channel. They make it seem like, Charlie, it's actually the way the future is. Link your Momo to your bank account so that you don't need to come to the banking hall. So things are easy and convenient. So why are you now saying, when I am just withdrawing money from my account, you know I'm the same guy, it's my own money, I'm yet to do a transaction, then you're charging me? I think it's completely wrong. Now, from the way the governor spoke, he's saying that it's possibly one bank or two. Caleb and guys, when you look at the messages we're receiving, okay, do read the messages without mentioning the bank's names, but let me know how different these banks are, right? This is something that has come on this show before. It was discussed
in February last year.
Yes, and there was a lot of what do you call it, anger, and then there were assurances from the Bank of Ghana that we're going to deal with the matter. Yeah. Somehow, I think they stopped for a while and then they've resumed. Yeah, so if you can, I don't know, you help
so
me.
Bernard, I really do not get so this is about the driver's parts. Okay. This person says my bank charges from account to wallet maximum amount of 10 Ghana cedis. That's Ruben. Bernard, I bank with anytime I transfer funds from my bank app to my Momo, I get charged 1%. It's been so all these times. This is Eddie from New Legon Adenta. For my banks, they charge when I move money from my bank account to my mobile money number, and that's 1% of the withdrawal amount, no matter how many times. That is coming from.
So
he's
they've
given his
attached
account
a
details.
percentage to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this person says it happens to be after e-levy. They charge 1%, capped at 20 Ghana cedis when I'm pulling money from my bank account onto my Momo. This is Bernice of East Legon Hills. Hello, Bernard. All banks now charge a 1% fee for bank to Momo and vice versa. No notices were given, but all of them now charge the 1%. This has been going on since the removal of the e-levy. Good morning, Bernard. My bank is charging me 10 Ghana cedis for all transfers to my Momo account. At least all 3 different transfers attracted 10 Ghana cedis each. Good morning, CBS. I was charged 10 cedis for withdrawing money from my wallet to my Ghana Pay this morning. My name is Richard. Hi, Bernard. My bank actually deactivated bank pull features on their app, forcing us to send money on their app, and then they charge you even if you're sending money to yourself. That's Abdul. Good morning, seniors. Some bank is the lead in this banking charging thing. Asafwache Abolo inside Boom. Hi, Abraham Odate. He's given details of 10 CD charge debited to his account by his bank. Good morning, Bernard.
Are the banks being mentioned the same bank or they are different banks?
No, they are different banks.
How many have you seen so far?
Before he deleted, I saw about 3.
3, because I think the view from the top is that this is just one bank doing this, but you've seen at least 3 banks.
Yes, I've seen at least 3 banks, and I also saw on my phone some messages, 3 banks charging differently from 0.3%, 0.5%, and 1%. But one bank in particular is notorious for charging the 1%. Okay, so this person says, good morning, Bernard and team. On these bank to wallet Momo transactions, we need to confirm whether or not the funds transfer is via the bank's own mobile app or via the *170# USSD, and that's coming from Chris in Oyarifa.
Chris, why does that matter? Because the fact is that my bank knows I am the Momo customer, because I don't even know how many times I have to say this. The purpose for linking your bank account, in fact, there was an announcement that you needed to link your Momo wallet to your Ghana card, and the same was done with banks. Now, if you want to open a bank account, you must verify with your Ghana card, and that is the single source of truth. So this bank knows that Bernard Avile is the same guy who has that MTN number, because it's the same source of truth. So there's no way you can say you don't know that I'm the one. And the excuse they gave was that there were some banks that hadn't done the linking.
Well,
so they were interpreting the movement of money as a transaction. Now that we've linked it, now you are telling us a different story. Somebody's saying that, well, it's a service, a third-party service provider that does the money removal. It's not the bank. So therefore, they deserve to be paid. I'm like, no. There are people who do cross-person transactions with Momo. Do you get it? So they should have enough money to make there. But to now say that I am removing 1,000 cedis to send to Sky, you charge me 1% for the 1,000 I've removed.
And then you charge him.
I mean, that's and I think the governor should not take this risk, because you see, Neil Ate's question also included now the drop. People are very sensitive to. You see, right now, we will not let the opacity of technology be used to steal our money, because we are not giving small money chance. So this idea of, oh, it's a service. No, the service provider have enough ways of making money, including across bank transactions. So, and the deleterious effect of e-levy can be worsened by this. So I think the governor and the Bank of Ghana must see this type of behavior by the banks as an illegality. It should not be treated as a different banking model. It's an illegality. There's no justification for doing that. It's like going to a bank and saying, I want to know how much I have in my bank account. Then they'll charge you for it. That's essentially what they are doing. That's wrong.
And then, you see, if you look at it, there are two sides to it. So you withdraw the money from your own account. They charge you, right? And then if you are now sending that money to me,
they charge you as well.
They charge you again.
Yeah.
I think you are losing value for
the same amount.
The same amount.
Just
and
by
it's
transferring.
completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
It is complete, and there cannot be any justification for
They
it.
are claiming that a third party does technical work and needs to be paid for it.
That is not the point. As you stated rightly, banks have various means of making money, and they are always declaring huge profits anyway. Right? So if I have to go to a bank and I know that I have only 1,000 Ghana cedis in my bank account, and I need to pay Kakra 1,000 Ghana cedis, right? What it means is I will be unable to pay Kakra 1,000 Ghana cedis because by merely taking that, they will tell me first of all, you don't have enough money. So you have to do something other 1,000 Ghana cedis. And then when you are sending that money to Kakra, then it is further completely unacceptable. You cannot allow this to continue. So the central bank has to come down heavily on the banks that are misbehaving in this space.
And last year when we had this conversation, the point that some of the banks do not have access to the data of some of the customers, we spoke to Professor Atefo at the time, and he clarified that about 191 financial institutions have access to NIA data. So when it comes to the NIA part in terms of the Ghana card and onboarding process with the banks and their systems, more than 190 of them have that access to the data. So that argument, if it should come up, will also not stand.
This is very Sky, by the way, I take cash, so the 1,000 maybe.
Cash is queen.
So far, we've received a number of banks, at least 3 banks that have come up. So it looks like it's not all banks that do it. And that is even what makes it worse. Right, so the fact is that we have about 18 or 19 banks in the country. So if only 3 are doing it, it means those 3 are essentially, as they say in UK, they are taking the piss. You know, why are they doing this? You know, and also I want to encourage people to move. For me, I think, look, the way customer service has got into now, even if my bank will charge me, they should have the courtesy to tell me. To not tell me and just remove the money, for me, it's bad faith. So if your bank treats you like that, you need to advise yourself, because we are in a competitive environment. And for some bank, the selling point may be we are more transparent and we are going to be more honest with you. All right. So you cannot just start imposing a charge on me without even having the courtesy to tell me. You know, it's just not right. And
a friend in the banking space says most of the banks have been applying those charges way back. We only introduced ours beginning of April, just when e-levy 2 was kicked out.
Why did you do that?
Exactly.
Who told you most of the banks have been charging that? We have not complained. So, what's your problem?
That's the e-levy going away there smuggling on me.
All right. No, so this is, please send in those comments and we will send it as received to the communications department of BOG. All right, now we have a couple of things coming up shortly. I'll be doing an interview on the Scale Partnership, which is a very interesting conversation involving the World Bank, the Jacobs Foundation, and the Ministry of Education. We'll be talking about that shortly. I just wanted more comments on other matters if they are available. I'll be happy for you to read it. Let me do two things before we do that. The MTN Momo Festival train is here. Join us for a shopping and musical experience from your favorite vendors and artists this weekend. Well, so that was supposed to have happened over the weekend. So if you were there, I hope you enjoyed it. Boat Food is definitely the number one option for the delivery of all your favorite meals from your favorite restaurants. Don't miss the exclusive 15% discount on Boat Food combos from Vidae Cafe. Order through Boat Foods and enjoy savings while getting the best meals in town. Download the Boat Food app today and enjoy. Roberts & Sons Optical is excited to announce the arrival of their stunning new optical frames and collections. From the sleek modding to vintage chic, our frames are designed to make you look and feel amazing. We have good offers and amazing deals for you, and there's something for everyone. Visit Roberts & Sons Studio and discover your perfect pair of authentic and affordable frames for both adults and kids. Call 0501 509 519 111. That's 0501 519 111. Roberts & Sons, seeing is believing. More Cerelac for your city, more goodness for baby. What are we talking about? The new 300-gram Cerelac wheat pouch is the same great Cerelac you love, now in convenient 300-gram pouch for easy refilling of your Cerelac tin. Get the 300-gram Cerelac wheat pouch today to refill, save, and smile. More goodness, less cost. This advert is LB approved. Francisca, more comments.
Yes, trooping in many comments. PK from Kaswa says, hello, Bernard. For my bank, I'm unable to transfer money from my bank account to any Telecel account, but I can transfer to an MTN mobile money account. Hello, Bernard. I save at The number linked to my account is my MTN, and I'm always charged on pulling money to my bank. I have another MTN number not linked to the account that I do some transactions with, and it's also charged when I save money, when I move money from my account to it. That's Eko Mensa Bedu from Dansoman. Hello, Citi. My bank, even before e-levy, was not charging clients for transacting between bank accounts and Momo wallet. Now there's a 1% charge on such transactions capped at 10 Ghana cedis. I've decided to move my account from there because really they are one of the banks with very few branches and ATM machines across the city. It's ridiculous. Good morning, Bernard and team. My bank always charges me 10% of the amount I transfer from my account to my Momo
10
wallet.
or 1?
This person says 10%, but I'm sure he meant 1%. This has been going on for a very long time. I have raised this with the bank, but they keep charging me even after they promised to work on it. That's Edward Morgan sending that in. Good morning, CBS. Before e-levy, my bank had charges for account to wallet and wallet to account, and no one had any issue with it. E-levy made us pay double charges, and that was when the complaint started. Now e-levy is gone. I don't see any reason to complain, and that's Kwame. That's an interesting view. Hello, Bernard and team. Please find my bank account mini statement. On May 11, I was debited 707 Ghana cedis, having transferred 700 Ghana cedis to my AT money. You can see the beneficiary being my name. I've also attached the AT money notification and the bank SMS notification for the same transaction. I'm always deducted 1% anytime I do a transfer. Okay,
so clearly there's a pattern established. So look, we shouldn't be doing this work for the bank. The Bank of Ghana should be doing this job. They should have a feedback system. So we are basically just helping them. But what we're saying is that this is contrary to public policy. This is not legal, and these are essentially banks creaming of people, and the central bank should not allow this to go on. If they don't act, they are also culprits. So that's basically the point. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Ever wondered why the finest treasures of Africa feel like hidden secrets? The craftsmanship, the passion, the untold stories. Well, Ghana, the wait is over. Afro quality is here. Afro quality is your destination for the finest collection of African products. From beautifully crafted, ready-to-wear clothes, organic skincare products, bags, shoes, and fashion accessories. All made in Africa and curated from Ghana to Kenya, Rwanda to South Sudan, South Africa to Nigeria, and all over the continent. Every item is made for those who value the best. Find us in East Legon on the American House Road on top of Say Cheers. Visit at afroquality.com on Instagram or TikTok or 053-33-92345. Afroquality, because you deserve the finest.
Charlie, where are you?
Boss man, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Wale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Masa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Hi, Mom, it's me, Kwame.
Hey, Kwame. How are you?
Mom, I'm fine, oh.
Okay.
You know something?
No, tell me.
I'm looking for a complete furniture set for my new place.
Kwame, I've told you before, the only one place you should go, eh?
Yeah, Mom, but I need a mattress to fit my bed.
Ash Foam.
I need a bed to fit my room.
Ash Foam.
What about a sofa where it go relax my body?
Ash Foam.
Wardrobes to fit all my clothes?
Ash Foam.
What about linens and pillows for sweet dreams?
Kwame. Ash Foam.
Mommy, I feel you. Ash Foam all the way.
For mattresses to beds, sofas, wardrobes, linens, pillows, and more, don't waste time and visit any Ash Foam showroom across the country or call our hotline at 0243 200 729. Ash Foam. Feel it, know it.
Burna Boy, Trevor Noah, Black Coffee, Chimamanda the writer, Febe Mugugu the fashion designer, and many more young African icons didn't get where they are by following mainstream paths. They did things differently. Say yes to doing things differently. Say yes to the creative person within you, the maker, innovator, entrepreneur. Chart a new path, learn new skills, globally recognized by the American Welding Society and Pearson's EdTech. So whether in Ghana or abroad, you will shine. Say yes to DTI, a learning experience that is next level. Go to dtiafrica.com or call 054-169-3534.
The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
It's 9:15 on the City Breakfast Show. Lots to talk about this morning. The Jacobs Foundation has set up what is called the Scale Partnership, bringing together an impressive coalition of private sector, philanthropic and multilateral organizations to open up the educational sector in a very meaningful way. So I'll be speaking to a rep from the Jacobs Foundation, Dr. Samuel Kembu, who's the global lead for Laying and Evidence. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
He's here with a senior education specialist at the World Bank Ghana, Miss Eunicia Brimfa Akwe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And of course, Professor George Odro, we know him, Ministry of Education, now technical advisor. He was a member also of the, I think you even chaired.
The chair, yeah.
Chaired the education committee the president set up to review our educational sector. You had to present your work to the president, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. So I want to ask you a question on that job. So, Dr. Kembu, talk to me about the Jacobs Foundation and why this skill partnership is so unique?
All right. Well, thank you so much for having us. First of all, Jacobs Foundation is a Swiss-based philanthropy.
Right.
Depending on whether you say Jacobs or Jacobs.
Okay.
Depending on your English proficiency. We are based in Switzerland, and we've been initially supporting research for the past 35 years. And towards the last 10 years or so, we've shifted into bringing more evidence into policy and therefore identifying countries in which we can support the public system with the implementation of evidence-based education policy. So in Ghana in particular, we have brought a couple of partners, so Jacobs plus two other Swiss philanthropies, UBS, Optimus Foundation, and Botnar, and 10 cocoa and chocolate companies together to form what we call SCALE, Systems Change Architecture for Learning Excellence. So this is that group of funders, and we've committed 40 million altogether, and the 40 million have triggered another 40 million for the from the Global Partnership for Education, making it 80 million altogether. It has been provided as an additional financing for the Ghana Accountability Learning Outcomes project, and this is unique to your question. Number one, because of the size. It's the first time actually that this amount has been triggered for Ghana and in actually a lot of other countries globally. Number two, we have a star for the show in this work, and the star is evidence. So we are bringing evidence. Evidence is everywhere. Evidence in thinking about the issue, but also evidence in implementing what would be into the classrooms. And lastly, we are also supporting communities. There's a whole community of change, a communities of excellence initiative embedded into it, empowering communities. So all of those are innovative elements, the size of the funding, the evidence being at the core, and also the work through communities.
By the way, what is the Ghana Accountability Learning Outcomes Project?
That's for the World Bank.
Okay, so talk to me about that then.
Okay, so the Ghana, as you know, Ghana has had a long partnership with the World Bank, and under the International Development Association, we've funded the Ghana Global Partnership for Education project in 2016 thereabout, and then also the Secondary Education Improvement Project, and then currently the Ghana Accountability for Learning Outcomes project,
which is the Gallop.
And this is the second additional financing to the Gallop. And in the original parent Gallop, we had support to access and also quality of education in 10,000 schools that were low performing, as we said. We ranked all the schools and looked at the bottom 10,000 and provided the benefit to them. And so for this second additional finance, what is really unique is that apart from the Global Partnership for Education funding and under the parent Gallop, the IDA, which is the International Development Association funding, there's also this partnership which brings together individual private funders. So this is really unique, and I think going forward this becomes more and more important in our education sector.
Let me also take Professor Odro's opening thoughts on this. What excites you about this partnership between the government, philanthropies, and private sectors and other international organizations?
So thank you very much, and thank you too, partners. What excites me, three things. The first one is the focus on systems change, because it aligns well with government's agenda of strengthening systems within the education sector for the purposes of enhancing learning outcomes. In fact, one of the things that came out strongly during our stakeholder engagement was stakeholders concerned about dysfunctional systems within the education sector. And so one of the pillars that informed deliberations was strengthening regulatory systems, accountability, and governance. And this fits well into this partnership initiative. Secondly, the fact that as much as $40 million is given to support government initiatives to address challenges. We know we have challenges, particularly at the foundational level, basic level. We still have about 5,000 schools under trees. We have textbooks that we don't have to support curriculum. We have teachers not getting the TLMs that they need and all those things. But all these things require money. So for the partnership to vote 40 million, not a loan but grant, it excites me. The third one that excites me most is that because of the systemic orientation, the system orientation of this partnership, they're just not looking at teachers. They're looking at sectors that create the enabling environment for teaching and learning to go through. They're focusing on school leadership. They're focusing on supervisors in schools. And so it's a holistic thing within the chain of policy implementation. And this excites me most.
Good. Yeah. So for my second round of questions, I'll start with you to know what the critical education challenges are in Ghana that this partnership will address. And I'll come to you about what outcomes you need to see for success. So Eunice, what are the issues or what are the challenges that you believe that this partnership should be addressing?
I'm sure we all know that the main challenges are quality in terms of learning gains and also access. We know that I think from the Ghana Statistical Service we have about 1.2 million children out of school from the foundational level, which goes from kindergarten to maybe JHS 3. So these are the two main issues. But I think what the project, the Gallup, with the partnership funding is trying to focus on is to, for example, measure the number of teachers that used improved practices in their classrooms. And here we are talking about public schools, and we are talking about some of the, more deprived schools. But under the partnership as well, from the parent Gallup, focusing only on 10,000 schools, now under the partnership, we are focusing on all public schools in Ghana. So that's a really big jump, and also focusing on kindergarten education. For the first time, I think we are going to, under this partnership, have an assessment at kindergarten level. And somebody will ask, how do you do that? But we know that's why the National Council on Curriculum and Assessment is there.
Wonderful. So from the Jacob's perspective, what specific outcomes does the foundation hope to see from this investment over, say, maybe 3 to 5 years?
Of course. So, number one, I think we've defined it very clearly in the Gallup project document, which is, by the way, available online and people can check it for themselves. This program would extend coverage of quality education to 2 million Ghanaian children. I think it's important to emphasize that. 64,000 teachers being trained on innovative approaches, providing access, as Eunice was mentioning, to kindergarten in-service training for 29,000 classes. So in terms of size, we are talking about scale, and that's what scale is about, right? Number two, and by the way, I want to use some of the words that the minister used last week at the Education World Forum, where he talked about competitive human capital to describe what, by building foundations, you can lead to with the human capital of your country. The aim is that we want to see children able to learn and achieving basic literacy and proficiency. Basic literacy proficiency when they end primary 2. Number two, I said evidence is the star of the show. We, by the end of this partnership, want to be able, and when I say we, actually I have to be inclusive. It's actually not Jacob Sunday. This was designed with the government and with all of the other co-funders and parties involved into this. You have an issue in education, an issue of funding. By the way, there's a 100 billion funding gap in the education sector. But I think
in which country?
Well, globally, UNESCO has put that data from all of the countries, 100 billion, which is massive. So this is actually a landmark for Ghana. I mean, some people are saying that it's not tomorrow that this will come back because there's a funding gap globally. And I think there's that problem of funding, but there's another issue that people don't talk about that often, which is the evidence use gap. The idea that you have access to research evidence that can be available, that can improve the way in which children learn, but people are not using it. It's almost like in the health sector where you have access to, a good medication, but then people are not taking it up. So I think what we want to see is an empowerment of the Ghana Education Evidence and Data Lab, which is a core initiative of this, to be able to really be that hub that will support the use of evidence into education policy and practice. That's the second. And then the last one is that work through communities and subnational actors, them being simply empowered to address subnational challenges that they face. We think that children should be able to learn in environments that are safe for them, and communities are the one that can provide that. So we have provisioned space into the program to make that happen. So those are, I would say, areas in which you can hold all of us, Prof. Odru, the entire government, the World Bank, and all the scale partners, and the GP, and all of us accountable in the next 5 years.
Prof. Odru, talk to me about, he mentioned teachers would benefit, students would benefit, and the rest of it. I thought you should elaborate a bit on that. So how will this partnership support teachers and school leaders? What specific skills or tools will it give them?
Thank you very much. Implementing policies, initiatives within the education sector involves a chain of functions. And it all starts with the teacher. If the teacher understands the initiative, the teacher understands evidence and how to use it, if the teacher internalizes the principle of informing whatever he or she does in the classroom with evidence, then definitely we're going somewhere. And that is one contribution that this partnership can do, building capacity of the teacher. Two, if the head teacher or head mistress, whoever, understands this initiative, he or she will create the enabling environment for implementation and provide the necessary support. So this is also one area. And the last one I talk about is the school improvement support officers, CISOs.
Okay.
Those who are supposed to support teachers and then learning to promote learning. If they understand, then they will be in a better position to provide the support. So in all these three areas are very critical contributions. And lastly, Samuel mentioned the Ghana Education Evidence and Data Lab. Now we have data, but they are scattered in silos. And that makes policy very difficult to make. And so bringing these, drawing the synergy among all those things is very key. And this is one area that the partnership can contribute to.
Final message to other potential partners who might be considering supporting education initiatives in Ghana. Eunice, what would you say to them?
Okay, let me take a step back and look at how much this whole partnership is. It's $117.13 million. And so Scale Funders bring in $40 million. Global, and it matches Global Partnership for Education funding of another $40 million. And then another funding called the Systems Transformation Grant, which is also about 31 point something million dollars. So all these come together, plus childcare. I mean, there's also a childcare trust fund that brings in $7.4 million. So all these funding come in together for Ghana. And so this partnership is really important. And for the first time for Ghana to raise such a big amount, and this is grant funding. So I just wanted to mention that. What do I see? I would like to see that children are learning and that we can actually tell from the evidence that they are learning. It's not just a matter of, all the children can say their ABCs, but we actually have a baseline assessment, and we are looking at learning gain as the years go by, seeing that children are actually learning. Individual children are learning. We have what we call the differentiated learning program, which looks at children, teaching children at their level. And this is something that the Gallup has introduced and has been introduced by the government under the Gallup, and it's ongoing. And we want to see that all children in public schools in Ghana at the foundational level are using this system.
We have to leave it here. Thank you. We've been listening to Miss Eunice Berima-Kwe, who's a senior education specialist for the World Bank, Professor George Odru, technical advisor to the Minister at the Ministry of Education, and of course Dr. Samuel Kembu, who's the global lead for learning and evidence, the Yakos Foundation, who have in a unique, innovative partnership managed to get double an amount. They got 40 million, somebody doubled it, and according to Eunice, it's almost now 170 million. Essentially, private sector, government, development partners, all working together to enhance education outcomes. We'll be waiting for Prof and his committee to meet the president. And then when they are done, we will speak to you again.
Okay.
So I appreciate your time on the show this morning. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Dear home, no interest for 2 years. Are you ready to step into your dream home? With Lakeside Estates' exclusive offer, you can own your own home in just 2 years with no interest payment. This offers you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle change. Choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. Your future awaits you. Imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. As your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. Call us today on 020-477-5043 or 020-477-5042. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour for our available homes. T&C supplied. Make your dream a reality. Lakeside Estate. Quality homes for all.
Calling all farmers, agribusinesses, and innovators, this is your chance to shine. Channel One TV invites you to exhibit at AgriFair 2025, one of Ghana's largest agriculture exhibitions. From Friday 20th to Sunday the 22nd of June, the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra will come alive with the very best from Ghana's agribusiness sector. Are you a farmer with fresh produce of any kind? Be it crops, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture, or you're a supplier of agro inputs and processing machinery? This is your platform to connect with the world. AgriFair 2025 is more than an exhibition. Showcase your fresh produce, share your expertise and experience, and grow your business. So, to all farmers with fresh produce, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture products, come, sell, network, and expand your business. AgriFair 2025, where culture meets innovation. Register now to secure your spot. Call us on 0205-973-973. Come one, come all. Enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices. And treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Great taste, great value. Don't miss out. The AgriFair 2025 is powered by Channel One TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM and is proudly sponsored by Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, and Development Bank Ghana.
To stay on point. Toast to spread it, it's still on point. Watch spread it all day long. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Watch spread, it's still on point. For your bread, it's still on point. For your toast, it's still on point. It's yummy, delicious. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. For your toast. It's still on point. It's still on point. Fortune spread. It's yummy, delicious. It's still on point.
Fortune spread. Delicious, creamy, and always on point. This advert is FDA approved.
Oh, right into the pond.
Of course, a pro indeed, Andy.
Another message? Oh, wait, not again.
Why, what's wrong?
We've exceeded our fuel budget by 15,000 Ghana cedis this month. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, that's crazy. Just for a few vehicles?
Exactly. We spend so much on fuel, but I don't even know where it's going.
I had the same problem until Instroma GPS saved me. Their fuel monitoring system stops fuel theft and wastage, saving me thousands, bro.
Really?
Yeah. It paid for itself in months. Plus, I get monthly reports that track every drop of fuel. Hey, I know we'll lose God.
Oh.
Take control of your fuel costs today. Get a free demo of Instroma's fuel monitoring system. Call 024-676-7662 now. Instroma GPS. Your choice, your savings.
This is the City Breakfast Show. The city's biggest conversation. The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Five minutes past the hour of 9. Welcome to the Monday, May 26th edition of EdTech Monday. And today we're looking at innovation versus regulation, finding the right balance for EdTech. Now, as you know, EdTech is rapidly changing the education landscape, offering dynamic solutions to long-standing challenges in learning access, quality, and delivery, as we just discussed in the previous segment. However, the speed of innovation often outpaces regulatory frameworks designed to ensure learner safety, equity, and data protection accountability. So as new tools and platforms emerge, a careful balance must be struck to avoid stifling creativity or enabling unchecked risks. So this episode of EdTech Monday, we're exploring how stakeholders can promote EdTech innovation while developing responsible regulation. It's a chicken and egg. We have a very interesting panel who will be looking at some very interesting issues. Is there a conflict between innovation and regulation? What kind of policies do we have? Are they helping or hindering EdTech growth? What is the role of communities, educators, regulators in shaping the future? And then how do we also have inclusive, gender aware and safe regulatory practices? Now, you can join us on WhatsApp 054-998-6996. Your own experience with us on EdTech, safety of yourself and your world online, and your views around how to draw the balance between innovation and regulation. You can also look for our social media platforms and send your comments at Citi973. Whatever you send, hashtag EdTech Monday, hashtag CityCBS. Now, before I introduce my guests, what is EdTech Monday? It's a platform for EdTech entrepreneurs, educators, and government reps to facilitate critical conversations on the use of technology for teaching and learning. Now, this is an initiative of the Mastercard Foundation's Regional Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning, and part of the foundation's strategy to find solutions to Africa's youth employment by closing, or youth unemployment rather, by closing the gap in access to quality education and advancing the integration of technology in education policies and practices across the continent. So this EdTech Monday that we've been doing for the past couple of years builds on the foundations of the Young Africa Work strategy in Ghana, with the vision that by 2030, the country will be a continental demonstration of young people, especially women, harnessing opportunities to shape the future of work and to create an inclusive economy with enhanced resilience for the most vulnerable. So to realize this vision, the Mastercard Foundation has partnered with MEST, which is the Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology, Africa, to bring you EdTech Monday, airing once a month, the last Monday of every month here on the City Breakfast Show. So who do you have joining us today? We have a fantastic panel. Antoinette Ohini Amoa is the co-founder of STEM Inclusion Ghana. Antoinette, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Kwame Nyatuame is the creative director of the Afro EdTech Enthusiast. Is that the name? And president of the Ghana EdTech Alliance. This confused me earlier when I read it, because I thought the Afro EdTech Enthusiast was your description. I didn't know it was the name of an organization. All right, so you are president of Ghana EdTech Alliance.
Correct.
Wonderful. Kwame Nyatuame. Very interesting name. Precious Miba Tidogo Asampoa Messi. She's the fundraiser and communication lead for Maxim Nyansa. Welcome to the show, Precious.
Thank you very much.
Last but not least, Kweki, or is it Kweyaki?
Kweyaki.
Kweyaki. I thought I got that wrong. Kweyaki. Is it from Kweki, right?
Yeah, it's different.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. Kweyaki, is it Blebo?
Yeah, Blebo.
She's a co-founder and program director because she can, into bracket BSc. Wow, welcome guys.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I have never had an array of very interestingly named organizations and interestingly named people. So before I even talk about the debate between regulation, innovation, or the balance, I just want you to talk to me about yourself. So let me start with Antoinette. STEM Inclusion Ghana, who are you guys?
Okay, STEM Inclusion Ghana is a non-governmental agency where we take upon ourselves to empower the youth and students with hands-on STEM education. And I'm laying emphasis on hands-on because we know that in our various schools, they claim they are teaching STEM, but most of the time is theory, you know. So having been through the educational system, coming from a computer science background, I know how it takes and what we went through before we were able to finish school. And so we don't want our sisters and brothers coming up to go through the same thing. Exactly. So we at STEM Inclusion Ghana, we are empowering the youth, underserved communities, and students with hands-on STEM skills. So basically, that is our vision.
And this secondary level?
From basic school to tertiary. Yes, please.
Wonderful. So you're co-founder, STEM Inclusion Ghana. Wonderful.
Yes,
Kwame, you are the creative director of the Afro EdTech Enthusiast.
Right.
And then you're also the president of the Ghana EdTech Alliance. So let's talk about the Afro EdTech Enthusiast. What's that?
Right. So it's basically a new media platform that is focused on showcasing and highlighting all of the exciting EdTech solutions and innovations that are popping up across the continent.
All right.
Yes.
And then the Ghana EdTech Alliance is what?
Yes. So the Ghana EdTech Alliance, I describe it as the family home of all of the exciting EdTech startups and companies in Ghana. We are hitting close to 30 in number, and I am very fortunate to be in the position where, you know, every day or every other day, I get a call, somebody telling me, "Oh, Kwame, I'm working on this solution," you know, blah, blah, blah. It's really, really exciting, and I think it's really good for the space.
I like that. So you are here wearing two hats.
Yes.
Amazing. Precious, you are a fundraiser and communications lead for the Maxim Nyansa Alliance or Foundation. Maxim Nyansa Foundation. What's that?
Oh, okay. Maxim Nyansa Foundation is an NGO that basically focuses on digital transformation. What I mean is we set up ICT labs across the country. We also train IT professionals all over, mostly people who are done with the university and from high school. So we teach them the practical skills and the real world skills they will need at the workplace, not the theory that we are mostly taught in school. So basically that is what Maxim Nyansa does.
Very interesting indeed. Kweyaki Belebo, co-founder and programs director because she can.
Yeah.
Into bracket BSc, Bachelor of Science. Who or what is because she can?
Okay. So, Because She Can was actually born from a personal need. Almost 5 years ago, I was the first and only female IT auditor with a banking group that had over 32 operations globally.
Hey.
And in as much as that is an achievement, there was a part of me that felt like something needed to change.
Okay.
And so Because She Can was that thing I decided to build with my co-founder Otima. Shout outs to her.
Nice.
We decided to build that from a place of knowing where we've been, because we just completed school. We didn't wait to be at the very top of our careers before thinking that we need to give back. So Because She Can primarily is very interested in making sure that we bridge the gap between skill acquisition and then employment. So we are talking mentorship, we are talking being able to have layered solutions, because for example, if you are dealing with girls who are from economically disadvantaged backgrounds, then you're supposed to provide them with laptops, internet access. So we go deep down into that, providing mentorship, training programs, and even with the training programs, it's also still very layered, because in some areas, you can't go and be teaching how to code. They've not even seen a computer before. You need to teach them, this is what a mouse looks like, this is how you operate a keyboard, this is how you start a computer. So that is Because She Can. We are here to make sure that you see me, you look at me, you've seen that, okay, this girl started in the classroom some years ago, she's been able to do it, and so I can do it too. So Because She Can, so can I.
I like it. Sounds very good. So you guys are doing great things for yourselves and you want to help others as well. So let's start with the creative director. So we are discussing, obviously today, the balance between innovation and regulation. Since you are a creative director, what is the state of innovation in EdTech? What is the state of play, right?
Okay, so
and
I
how
guess-
is it influencing the broader educational system?
Right. So I guess for this question, I would wear the president of the Ghana EdTech Alliance hat.
Wonderful.
Because for the other one, I sort of play your role where I interview exciting EdTech founders in across Africa. So to the question, I would say that the space is very exciting, Bernard. And you know, the common thread that you notice is the fact that all of us, at least majority of the people I've spoken to, went through a time in Ghana where education was, as you know, it's blackboard, chalk, no fun in the classroom. Now fast forward, we are having the situation where there are projectors in the classroom, there are whiteboards, they are using markers. Now we are having conversations around using computers, using tablets, you know, using leveraging on apps and so on and so forth. And you can tell the passion with which they are, you know, eager to leverage on technology. And even, you know, like my sister mentioned, you know, some very practical tools they could put together, at least those found in our context, to come up with solutions to improve teaching and learning in the classroom. Let me even mention some names. So we are having some exciting startups like a QNO, which is focused on improving, you know, or helping students prepare for exams. If I had that back in the day, God knows what will happen. We are having tools like eCampus as well. So eCampus does something similar, but they've even gone a step further to help with corporate trainings and so on and so forth digitally. We are having exciting LMS platforms like Ikulilu, that is helping to ensure a smooth and seamless communication between schools, parents, and students, right? Just so you don't have a situation where you don't know what your child is going to learn during the term, where just so, you know, issues pertaining to school fees payments, you know, once you pay school fees, the school should be able to be alerted quickly, and then they send you a receipt. And then if maybe your child misbehaves in class and so on and so forth, that seamless communication is there. There are also exciting ones, especially for people with disabilities. I'm sure, Bernard, you are quite aware there's Deaf Can Talk, which is an assistive tool for deaf persons to basically streamline or make easy the whole communication process for deaf people. So, I mean, in a nutshell, I would say that the space is really, really exciting. And
let me just thank you for that.
Yeah.
Other panelists take on, are we in happy times? Is innovation thriving? Is innovation doing well? Do you have anything else to add to what he's saying about what is the state? Because some industries there's no innovation, and that's why they are suffering. Would you say the EdTech sector on innovation you don't lack? Who wants to go? Who wants to go next?
Okay, I would
Yes,
want
go ahead.
Yeah, I think I side with him.
Yeah.
Because if we cast our mind back to, let's say, 10 years ago, I don't think the space was this innovative as it is today. Now we have a whole lot of competitions going around, and when you happen to be at some of these competition grounds, you happen to see very innovative and creative solutions being developed by students as low as basic school. And so our time we're able to come up with some of these innovative solutions. And the solutions are not just for themselves, they are solutions that they are using to help communities. Some in their communities, if they happen not to have clean water, they're able to develop solutions as a way of purifying the water for the community. And so if the space is now turning towards this kind of innovating, then I think we've come a very long way. And I believe in the youth of Ghanaians, and I see them as innovators, and if they are given little push, I think very soon we will be named among the best.
From what I'm hearing from the first two speakers, it looks like problems are the platforms for innovation, and even from your own thing. So the fact that there are lots of challenges means that there will definitely be innovation.
Absolutely.
So you all agree to this? Yeah. Where innovation is a response to problems. Great. So it's not necessarily the regulatory environment that spawns the innovation. It's the frustration with the problem that leads to innovation. I just wanted your quick thought on that before I ask a question about regulation. Because obviously regulation is there to streamline innovation, right? Because whilst innovation is good, it has to happen within a certain context, right? So who wants to go on that point? Any thoughts around, even though innovation is natural, the regulatory environment still has a role to play? Maybe let me take your thoughts on that.
Okay, so basically we have to be empathetic first, because when we are talking about learners in underserved communities, you know, they don't have access to certain things like internet connectivity. So innovators are coming on board, creating innovations, and then at the end of the day, you get to a place and it cannot be used at the end of the day. And this is because, number one, maybe the innovators are not getting in connection with the regulators or the policymakers and even the communities where they are developing these innovations for. So first of all, we have to be empathetic, feel what the people are feeling, and then we have to collaborate with the stakeholders who are involved in these projects. We have to make sure that we are checking, is it that these people are comfortable with a particular language? Is it that they are comfortable, especially specially aided people? These people are people that need more attention. So when we are creating regulations, we should factor them. We should make sure that it's flexible enough to accommodate all these people and not just one person at the top making regulations, and then it comes down and these innovators are tied by their hands, and then the community is not also getting the solution to the problem they have.
So I hear empathy, I hear collaboration. I think I jumped ahead of myself. The question I should have asked was, how important is regulation in this space as well? You used to work in the financial institutions, and you were an IT auditor. One of the words you hear in bank is compliance. It's a very terrible word, but it's actually a very important word as well. So I want you to be the person on the panel who would at least give compliance and regulation a chance. Tell me, how important is regulation in tech? Because it seems as if, innovation. But there is a thing like innovating that can be destructive, right? So talk to me about that because of your background.
Okay. So I want us to come from a lens of understanding that you talk about empathy. Here's the thing, when you are dealing with innovators, you need to also let them understand that compliance is not just rules.
Okay.
It's for your own safety and for the safety of the people that you are developing solutions for. So let's take, for example, when I worked at a bank, we have international standards. We are talking ISO 27001. All these standards are there. If these standards were not there, you take fintech applications and there is no benchmark against which we can say that develop this way, make sure your system does this, perform regular audits of who has access, who has admin access, who has access to change certain things in these systems. If those regulations were not in place, we would have a situation where because there can be a complaint to me that a customer is complaining about the fact that they have unauthorized withdrawals, right? If there was no regulation in the first place, now when I go into the system, I can realize that there is somebody that's maybe 3 months ago erased backup data because they had admin access, and if that access was not revoked, that means that I can't even see who did that because they have such super admin access that they have. And so we need to look at regulation from the lens of safety. And I think it's very important to even educate innovators on this, because when innovators hear about auditors, because it was like they are afraid of us. And that really worried me, because I'm like, I'm here for your own protection. But so when we come from, I think we should come from the lens of educating innovators to understand that regulations are not here to stifle your own growth, but they are also here to protect you. Another angle that we can also look at this from as regulators too, is that because some auditors and regulators also come looking like we are here to arrest you. But that's not the case. You're supposed to actually, work together and collaborate, because I like the fact that she mentioned empathy. It's so important to have as regulators, because at the end of the day, these solutions are for all of us, and they help us, and so we need to learn to work together.
All right. Antoinette, what are some regulatory or institutional barriers that you face when you are deploying new educational technology? Because you do this at STEM Inclusion Ghana. So talk to us a bit about some of the barriers you face when attempting to innovate and deploy new technologies.
Okay. Thank you. I think I would limit it to accreditation and approval.
Okay.
You know, we normally work with schools, and so every institution and its regulations. Most of the time we have issues working with the government schools, because it has a very large body that sees to daily activities of our basic schools. And so I think the process is very long. Even though it's good, it's there to protect we coming in and the students. But then if I have to write a letter to the school, from the school I go to the district level, and the district also directs me to write to the regional level before I can deploy educational innovation or technology to these schools. I think most of the people are trying to shift to private schools more than government schools because of some of these long processes. Because if I intend to do it within 2 months, and even submitting the letter, getting responses, another problem. I think recently, somewhere in March, we had to work with some senior high schools. I had to drop one school because the process was very tedious, and they were just delaying us. That is, we wrote to the headmistress of the school, and we were called to write to the districts. I wrote to the district. I went to meet the district director, and then he told me the headmistress is on leave. And if headmistress is on leave, is the regional director that acts as the headmistress.
Wow.
In my mind, I thought the district director in his capacity can act as a headmistress if...
To the regional director?
Yes. So I had to drive all the way to the regional office. I got there and I didn't meet the one I'm supposed to meet. And so I just had to call the district director and tell him, I think I've tried. But then it's just tiring. And so I'm sorry, I may not have to include your school. But then it would have been something effective, and it would have benefited the director and the school as a whole. But because of some of these long processes that we go through, it ends up as a barrier. And also with the accreditation, some of us develop innovative solutions that has to be accredited before we can take to the schools. And I don't want to mention names, but there are institutions that are supposed to do that. You submit your product, and it would take like a year for you to even hear from them.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
wow.
Something that should take like a month or two. And if you are holding my accreditation, it means I wouldn't be able to go out and deploy it.
Wow.
And so I think even though some of these things are good and some of us want to align with it, I think some wouldn't mind, they would just go their own way. But those of us who understand the importance of it and would want to go that way, I think if that area is being checked,
should be
checked. Help us. Yes.
This is EdTech Monday, and today is the 26th of May, a platform for EdTech entrepreneurs, education stakeholders, and government to facilitate conversations on the use of tech for learning and teaching. Today we're discussing the nexus between innovation, regulation, finding the right balance for EdTech. My guests include Antoinette Ohiniamwa, co-founder of STEM Inclusion Ghana. Kwame Nyatuama is the creative director for the Afro EdTech Enthusiast, which is a platform, and of course president of the Ghana EdTech Alliance. Precious Tidogo Asampoa is a fundraising communications lead for Maxim Nyansa, who are an NGO into training, and Koiki Blebo, co-founder and programs director of Because She Can. She's trained as an IT auditor. Very interesting perspectives. So you've given an example of how interacting with regulators or just officialdom can be very frustrating. Yeah. So let me deal with Kwame briefly on this. What risks do you see if we over-regulate? Do you even think the sector is over-regulated? First and foremost. Do you think the sector is over-regulated? And how can we work to avoid over-regulation?
Thank you for the question. So very quickly, I would not say out. I think there's some work being done, in terms of policy with regards to putting together an EdTech framework that's going to guide the activities of innovators in the space. But that being said, Bernard, you painted a certain picture about the fact that innovation, in a sense, is typically born out of the problems that people face, right? And you mentioned that there are some sectors that are not innovating because, well, we know why. But that nearly happened to education as well, right? So to get to this point where we have this opportunity to be able to have, EdTech solutions popping up across the place is really exciting. And I want to give, massive props to the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with the MEST for the rollout of the EdTech the Mastercard Foundation EdTech Fellowship. It's pretty much put a floodlight. I don't want to use spotlight, but a floodlight on the EdTech sector.
All right.
And that's because they fundamentally see that education is the driver for the transformation that we want to see in Ghana and on the continent. And so they are doing some amazing work with across the country. So in Guinea, in South Africa, Sahara Consult in Tanzania, and some adventures, I believe, in North Africa as well. The context has to be set straight, right? If we all agree as stakeholders and understand that education is that catalyst that is going to empower our human resource to have a certain value that they are going to offer to help build the nation that we want to build, then we would definitely be on the lookout for technology innovation that can help us speed that process. One, and then number two, put us in a position where we are able to build quality.
Yeah.
Right. And Ghana and all of the countries across the continent has been crying for that. So with that context laid, you'd typically think that you'd have governments and all of the government agencies, etc., move in a way that is very supportive of innovators in the space, especially education, right? But this is what I typically say, that fintech, it took a while for fintech to get to where it is now, right? So back then we typically had a situation where everybody wanted to hold the cash. So if it's 5,000, you wanted to hold the cash, feel it in your pocket, right? To where now we are talking about Momo payments, we are talking about bank transfers, and even the conversation you're having today talking about charges and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
EdTech is on its way, right? You typically the mood now is, we need to get to a point where we should be able to adequately integrate technology into the classroom to improve learning outcomes and also to improve education administration and delivery overall. So for the regulators, what we as innovators expect is, you and I both know, right? We want to improve the human resource of our country, right? We have a country to build, and so it is in all of our best interests to be, to create that environment that is very supportive of educators, especially in the EdTech space. I mean, finance, yeah, you can go, pretty hard on them, right? Because that involves money. But for a sector that focuses on empowering, putting the human capital in a position where it's able to offer meaningful value to the country that we are trying to build.
Yep.
There should be more leeway. They should be more supportive.
They should be more enabling.
Yes.
You use the word empathy. All right. And I would love you to elaborate a bit on that. But before that, I'm sure there should be also some gender issues in here, right? I mean, we will not be complete in discussing these things without talking about these matters. So what gender sensitive policy frameworks do you think should be integrated into regulation to support equal access and, more importantly, innovation in EdTech? Kweki, it's a complex question, so I'll give it to you to address, to attempt.
Okay, so I would say before we even delve into regulations and policy, there's something that we need to get right. When we think of EdTech, I do think that we consider the classroom a lot more. But EdTech doesn't mean the same thing everywhere. It's different for everybody.
Okay.
So I talked in the beginning when I was introducing myself, I talked about what we are doing at Because She Can and implementing our solutions. If you are dealing with a community where there is a prevalent rate of teenage pregnancies, where the girls don't have access to computers, maybe they have a smartphone, if they find themselves even in quote-unquote romantic relationships, it's usually going to be with people that are engaging in cybercrime. For these girls, EdTech means teaching them about digital safety. It means teaching them to spot grooming online. It means letting them understand that when you engage in this cybercrime, if you send this picture to somebody, you can be arrested for it. These are things that are important because in that context, that is EdTech. For a woman or for a person who has a thriving offline business that is trying to go online, EdTech to this person is teaching them how to use social media, how to leverage on websites, being able to take payments online, that is EdTech for them. And then we come to the schools. So it's very layered. When we understand it from this perspective, then we can now talk about regulation and policy.
I like that.
So regulating, we need to regulate for time poverty and a flexible access. When I say time poverty, we think of poverty in the lens of just money. But when you're dealing with women, especially in our context, I like to use our context because this is Africa. We can make noise about all the gender equality we want. But in a typical home setting, you find the woman with more responsibilities. After school, she has to wash the dishes. She needs to cook. If it's a mother, she needs to breastfeed her children. She needs to, she does more, housework. It's the truth. And so there is time poverty. And so if you don't lace regulation to consider these factors and make sure that when you are building systems, make sure that there is asynchronous access. Can these modules be maybe taken offline when there is low data, because there is also poverty that is not just time, it's also money. All these things need to be factored into regulatory frameworks. Another component that we also need to understand is designing, testing, and then building with girls at the center.
Okay.
Typically, it's an afterthought. And that should not be the case, because if you're a funder or you are approving any solution, you should be able to ask very important questions. Have you tested these systems on girls? Where are the communities that these girls are coming from? Are these systems also reinforcing or disrupting any harmful things that we are already dealing with? Another thing that is also important is safety and consent. We are dealing with women here. Women are the greatest population to deal with harassment in many forms, unfortunately. And so we need to build with that in mind. Anything that cannot happen in a physical classroom should not be happening online.
Okay.
And so if we are not building with this in mind, then we are not getting anywhere. Lastly, we are supposed to support the full journey. I say this thing all the time, that training is just one part of it.
Okay.
What's next? So you can empower girls all you want, but there are so many unseen factors that still contribute to women not being empowered. If we have research has shown that if you have a man and a woman standing here and then there is a job, a man will wait to, if he's 60% qualified, he's going to apply. A girl is not going to do that. She's going to be 100% qualified before she applies for that role. And so if you have a system that just focuses on training, and when you are dealing with women, you are not including other modules. So for example, if you take our mentorship program, Because She Can, it goes beyond training women. We are talking confidence boosting sessions. We are talking letting them understand the workplace, branding themselves personally. There is things that go beyond just training. And so I'll just say that we need to consider all these factors and understand that EdTech is very contextual, and we need to respect all these different contexts before we can even think of regulation and policy.
We're still here at EdTech Monday, brought to you by the MasterCard Foundation with support from MEST. My guests are discussing innovation and regulation. Let me come to Precious for you to share an example or examples of some of the stuff you do at Maxim Nyansa Foundation where regulation either hindered or enabled innovation. I'm putting you on the spot here.
Okay, thank you very much. At Maxim Nyansa, one of the projects that we hold very dear is the digital transformation project.
All right.
When I say digital transformation, Maxim Nyansa doesn't come as an EdTech organization that has a product. We more or less have a service. So we do ICT lab setup across the country, and then we do IT and vocational and professional training for graduates. Then we have our digital library, which is open source, and we are looking at transforming it into a learning management system. Now, Fortunately for us, regulation actually helped us.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Okay. So we are looking at the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, popularly known as NACA. They brought about a policy, which is the ICT education policy.
Okay.
And this policy encourages ICT to be involved in the learning and teaching across all levels in the country, and then all educational systems in the country too. So this helped us scale, because now ICT became a necessity in education. Every child has to get access to ICT, which meant that Maximiansa had to work more, produce more ICT labs so that we can help these learners also reach their goal in terms of being able to learn. Also, we look at the teacher side. Is the teacher going to be able to use our digital tools to teach after we have provided these things? So yes, this policy actually helped us scale. I know we were expecting otherwise, but truth be told, this is what we are going through, and it's quite interesting.
I like the fact that in this example, regulation helped.
Yeah.
Unlike in the case where Antoinette said it stifled things. But Antoinette, how do we balance user privacy and the need for data and advancing educational innovation? Because what I mean is, sometimes they give you a product and then they have to get you to put your details in it, because they need that to design the next phase of the product. And yet people want their privacy. Look, I call them the big four. They do this a lot, right? They will say, oh, use this thing, and then you're basically volunteering information about yourself to them, and they start marketing things to you. In a way, they need your data to make the thing work better. But you also need your own privacy. So there's a balance we need to strike there. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. Very well, thank you, Bernard. I'll start with the Data Protection Agency. I believe most people don't even know about their existence. And so in Ghana, we have a legal framework designed by Data Protection Agency. That is the Data Protection Agency Act 2024, Act 843, which talks about privacy, user privacy, as well as their data. And so in as much as you would want to collect data or information from your users, you have to educate them first, get their consent, let them know what you are going to use the data for. Even the duration you are going to keep the data within.
I see.
And yes, because most of us don't know. And so let's say somebody come to you, okay, I've developed this product, I need you to try your hands on it, and you are supposed to input or fill a form which demands your data. Confidently, you should ask why the data is being collected, how long the data is going to be at their disposal, what they are going to use the data for. If, let's say, they say they are going to use it within 2 years, and after 2 years, you see that your data is still being used, you have every right to take them up.
I see.
You can walk to Data Protection Agency and they can help you file against this person. Also, if I, as a EdTech company or a director, most of the time we deal with underserved communities. Some are even naive. They don't even know what data means. And so we have to make sure that we educate them. If you are taking data in relation to what you are going to do, you make sure that take data specifically for that and not any other thing else. Because some will go there and take advantage because they know these kids don't even know what this whole data and other things are about. And so they also corner them, ask them unnecessary questions just to gather data and later on use this data against us. You get it? And so I think it's a very important thing, and we have to be transparent as well. If you are going to the school, you have to make the stakeholders aware that you are going to collect some of these data from the students. That is the parents. Does the parents even agree that the child give out his or her data, or any other person in question? Is the school, as I said earlier on, we have to go through a whole lot of process. Is the director, the teachers, the headmistress aware of the data you are going to use? Even with photography, videos, did the students sign consent? Do they know where you are going to post or publish their pictures and videos? Because you can't just walk in and let's say with a particular posture you take a picture. Data is not just about writing information, my bio or anything. Videos and pictures as well as what's classified as data. Because you take a picture of somebody without her consent and then the next minute is on the internet.
Somebody was filming me when we started the show without my consent.
So you can take the person out because it wasn't with your consent. So I think we have to.
Consent is assumed when you're in a public discussion like this.
Okay, very well.
But I get your point.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that should be key in our.
Anybody to add something to this?
But I wanted to add very quickly. It's reminding me of some conversation I was having with some actors in the global north regarding EdTech, right?
Yeah.
So they are pushing, very strongly for certification, right? And they have this framework that they are using, and it's in categories, right? So where if an EdTech founder is working on a solution, they take it to them. They have their independent process that it goes through, and then maybe if you get so some of the categories included effectiveness, efficiency. Then there was the bit about ethics and some other parameters that were laid out. So if all of them have different if you like, aspects to them. And so the during the conversation, we realized that maybe in the USA, for example, right, they will prioritize conversations around data protection and so on and so forth because they are far advanced, right? But then when you come to our context, Ghana, Africa, we are looking for solutions that are immediately improving, things in the classroom, improving learning outcomes and so on and so forth. And so to her point, and I guess, to just put it out there, we shouldn't get to the point where we want to get everything or check all the boxes before we move, right? Innovation is such that we'll break things, right? And that's not to say that policy shouldn't come in to, in a sense, guide us, but for a country that is looking to, in a sense, build itself to where it can be of benefit to all of its members. The truth of the matter is that we'll break things, right? And so by all means, let there be a situation where we balance that conversation to where we lean more towards finding those solutions that can immediately improve and get us the outcomes that we want as soon as possible.
We'll run some things, we'll break some things.
I don't agree with him.
You don't agree with him?
Yeah, I don't agree with him.
Why not?
In as much as you want to break, I feel when it has to do with data, we have to do it the right way. Yes, we have to do it the right way.
So on this data versus I want to improve the product, so I'll harvest your information, where do you stand?
I will side with him when it comes to breaking things. Because I have transitioned from IT auditing to data science, machine learning, and I've been doing that for almost 4 years now. And in that space, you can regulate, but look at AI. Every day there's something new.
That's why it should be regulated.
It should be regulated, but at the end of the day, we would break things. And I understand that.
Maybe you need to explain this break things well.
User.
So when you say you break things, what are you breaking? You cannot break my. You can't explain that.
Right?
It's my privacy.
Yes, a practical example is back then when we used to get 0 in our classwork, right? Nobody knows until I said you didn't know I got 0 in some classwork in class 4.
Yeah.
But now you can have the situation where that data is recorded and somebody might put it out. I get that. But what I am saying essentially is that we should lean more towards exploring the tools that can quickly get us to the point where we are delivering on the outcomes that we want.
So maybe we should put it this way. At the beginning, exploration is necessary, but at some point, compliance comes in to streamline it.
Fantastic.
Because if you leave it, but the problem with the global situation now is that large companies don't want to be regulated. And they are using post information without any let or hindrance, which is a problem. All right. So in that sense, that lack of regulation threatens the rest of us. Because large companies can use the power in the market to really do a lot of crazy things. So if compliance regulation is not enforced at the very granular level, you're going to have a problem where you don't know what is going to happen next. Right. So maybe let's take a pause. Let's hear some listeners who's been we've interviewed a few people on this subject. We'll hear them. Then I'll read a couple of quick comments before we come and wrap up in the studio. This is EdTech Monday, 26th May 2025, and we're discussing regulation, innovation in a tango.
Clear policies for guiding EdTech use in schools are important because schools are left to figure things on their own. But governments can help by setting standards to make sure that tools don't just sound good or look good on paper, but they actually help learning and are safe and inclusive. Yes, I have used EdTech tools that have raised privacy and safety concerns because they seem to collect more data than is necessary, and it's not always clear where the data is going. And with little regulation, we risk exposing students to breaches, biases, and even sometimes exploitation. It's important to build data protection into the product right from the onset, so that when you're innovating, you innovate responsibly, you will have in mind transparency, you have in mind consent, and you have in mind minimum data collection. But the best standards are co-created, so it's not just about government or developers or schools. Governments will create the base, developers will bring the tools, and then the schools bring real world insight to it. So they work together to ensure that we prioritize access, equity, and inclusion.
Now, with the rise in innovation and EdTech products and tools that are available to support teaching and learning, now more than ever, it's very important for agencies like the SENDLOS, which is an agency of the ministry, to step in and set some benchmarks in order to regulate how EdTech is developed and used to support teaching and learning in our schools. Clear policies are very vital when it comes to supporting EdTech ecosystems to grow. EdTech developers need to understand what is important for schools. Schools need to understand what is relevant for an EdTech product that works. And then government also needs to understand to what extent EdTech products are impacting teaching and learning in schools. The major concern when it comes to the use of technology is always privacy issues. It's very important to be part of the narrative right from the word go, so that once the benchmarks are set, once the data protection regulations are set, once the checklists are developed, everyone within the ecosystem, EdTech developers, parents, and even schools, know what is important, what they need to do in order to protect the learners from data privacy related issues. When it comes to setting of the standards, it needs to be a collaborative approach. So I see a partnership model as the most effective approach. So schools know what the learners need in the classroom, the EdTech developers know the tech, and then the parents are also able to determine to what level they wish to be able to invest in EdTech products, whilst government through its agency SENDLOS is able to play that oversight responsibility of bringing together the views of all these people to produce inclusive EdTech policies that ensure that everyone within the ecosystem contributes to. With this, we can be sure to have a more sustainable approach in terms of the standards to regulate EdTech in Ghana.
Those were some voices from the market. Here's an interesting reaction to some of the things I've heard. So, this is Dr. Sam Ewoku, an education technologist. He's reacting to something you said much earlier when you were talking about the frustration that your district, you had to talk to some district guy, whatever. Yeah, all of that. Yeah. And Tonette's making very good points. She needs to, however, understand the regulatory systems and timelines. It seems to me that she has not fully explored the educational regulatory system. It is not everything in the name of innovation that is and should be accepted in our schools. They must be checked to ensure that they meet acceptability measures. The best approach is to co-design and co-create. It goes on. Regulators are therefore to safeguard our children and what they are exposed to and the long-term impact on learners. From my experience, most EdTech innovation, quote unquote, innovators are rarely willing to engage in co-creation and co-designing and co-implementation. The guy said that compound. I don't know if you have met him before. Who wants to comment on that? That co-creation, co-design, co-implementation, they are there to safeguard. That's why they drag their feet. It's not like they want you to innovate. They don't want you to just come and dump something on them. I have a solution and you come and do it and monetize. No, they want to be part of the process. Oh, feel free.
Okay,
it's a free country. You can respond.
I think Doc is making a point, but once we write to the schools, it means we are ready to collaborate. Right? Yes, it means we are seeking their consent and approval as well as direction. If we bypass them to do otherwise, then it means we are trying to do away with their regulation.
Mm-hmm.
The point I was making was at least the time for them to even respond to us.
Yeah.
It takes a very long time.
It's too long.
And they should spell out what's the requirements are.
So you can know and comply.
Yes, once we've submitted the letter, they should just let us know. Let's
Wonderful.
say we meet on this day. Let's deliberate. Let's see how best we can
All right.
fit in, and then we go.
Yeah.
But not like making us stranded, going all around and then not getting any results.
Any final comments? I'll take Precious. Okay, yes. Precious, Kwame, and I'll end with all of you in a minute each.
Yeah, I think this conversation all boils down to collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do it alone as innovators. The policymakers cannot do it alone without us.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't also leave the community behind and build something.
Wonderful.
So at the end of the day, all of us have to come together as one and look for a common goal, which is to make sure that education is accessible to every child anywhere and anytime. And that's the goal.
Thank you, Kwame.
I'll wrap up by saying that education is inextricably linked with nation building.
All right.
So if we all have that consensus, then we need to move in a way that speaks to that.
Okay.
Right. Just let's support EdTech founders. Let's put them in a position where they're able to innovate and come up with the solutions that are going to improve the human capital of the country. It's very, very much needed.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Last words to Kuyaki.
Yeah, so I speak for women and youth, and I would simply say that you can't build solutions or come up with policies for women and youth when the women and youth are not included. Because you would see a policy committee and you can't find a woman, you can't find a young person, and that is a problem. And that is what I would like to wrap up with. It's very important to bring these communities into play and then make sure that we are able to make their solutions go that far.
We've been hearing resource persons, including Koiki Blebo, co-founder and director, programs at Because She Can, Precious Tidongo Asampua, fundraising and communications lead for Maxim Nyansa, Kwame Nyatuame, creative director for Afro EdTech Enthusiast, president of the Ghana Tech Alliance, and Antoinette Ohini Amwa, co-founder of STEM Inclusion Ghana. This has been EdTech Monday, May 26th edition. Innovation versus regulation. Innovation can lead, regulation must streamline. That's the conclusion. So many comments on different issues coming up this morning. Just to remind you though that if you want to upgrade your office, call the experts. Expert Office Furnish Company for your ergonomic swivel chairs. We have intelligent seat cushion and dynamic bionic spine pressure relief design. Equipped with double wing support chips with great benefit for your health and your spine. At Expert Office Furnish, we have executive desk, cabinets, conference, and all office furniture that suits your budget. We are off the Atomic Hills Estate Road on the Asori Junction near ASI Plaza, Ashoman Estates. Call 0571 386 600 or 0244 280 532. Expert Office Furnish, your health, your wealth. Get Diamond Cement's 32.5 hour grade cement, a great deal, affordable for everybody's pocket. We also have the fantastic 42.5 hour grade cement, the highest quality on the Ghanaian cement market. We have locations at Aflao, Takrady, and Buipe. Call 0244 313 368. Diamond Cement still as hard as a diamond. Well, we've received a lot of your comments on the bank charges, and we'll be forwarding them to the Bank of Ghana. Hopefully, they will act on this before it's too late. Don't forget, the Agri Fair 2025 is happening from the 20th to the 22nd of June, where we're bringing farmers in livestock, fish, aquaculture, poultry, vegetables, fruits, all together for 3 days, selling at farm gate price. So if you're a farmer, a processor, a supplier looking to connect with thousands, this is your chance. Call us on 0205 973 973. Come and enjoy the freshest farm produce at Agri Fair 2025. Brought to you by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV. Sponsored by the Ghana Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Investment Center, and Development Bank Ghana. A big shout to Express Pay for their wonderful birthday surprise that just landed for myself and Richie Sky. Charlie, it means we are going to enjoy when we finish the show. So thank you, Team Express Pay, for keeping it real. And it's in partnership with Meals on Wheels. Hey, Charlie, Meals on Wheels. Oh, it will be rough. Time for City News at 10. Ejubi Afia Kintings here with a bulletin. Good morning.
Good morning. Coming up, Ghana shuts down embassy in Washington, D.C.